Welcome to the SeizeYourBusiness.com podcast and video blog. My name is Kevin O'Flaherty from O'Flaherty Law, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Jim Waszak from Success Enhancement.
Hello, everybody.
And I'm excited today. We have our first ever guest on the podcast returning, and he was actually the first person I met networking professionally in town through the Rotary Club, Kent Ebersold from Ebersold Inc. He's a good friend of mine, and I appreciate him coming back for his second podcast. Thanks for being here.
Well, thanks, Kevin and Jim. Really appreciate coming back, and I had so much fun the first time when you invited me back. It was not a hesitation, worked through my schedule, and happy to be here.
So
Happy to have you.
If you like what Kent is saying in this podcast, we talked in his first one about using print marketing to market your business, and that was episode number 2. So go back in our archives and check that out. Today our topic is going to be integrating your business with your community. And Kent is a very good person to speak on this because through the Rotary Club, he's brought his marketing skills to help put on Rotary Grove Fest, which is the Downers Grove Town Festival that the Rotary Club took over from the village a couple of years ago. And Kent has been along from the very beginning. Kent just told me that, what magazine is this, or what newspaper is this?
The Suburban Life.
Suburban Life rated it the number one festival in the suburbs, right?
Right.
All right.
Right.
So we've gone from it being shut down by the village to now it's the number one festival, and Kent was integral in making that happen. So tell me kind of the story of what happened with Rotary taking it over and what it was like having to plan a festival for the first time for a bunch of people who didn't know how to plan a festival.
Well, when the village stopped Heritage Festival, it was due to budget restrictions. It was in a tough time with the recession, and they had cutbacks, and so they cut back the festival. It was at that point where myself and a number of other members of the Rotary Club, we were all in. Let's do it. We can do this. We can handle this festival, because we had been handling the entire beer garden for the village, and we had handled that, and that was one of our major fundraisers. And I had been a big part of that because of my experience when I was at Northern Illinois University. I was one of the Miller marketing reps for the entire campus. I was the campus Miller marketing rep for Miller Brewing Company. And so I did festivals in college. I planned events in college, so it was a natural for me to be a part of this with a number of other members of the Rotary Club. So being that the festival, the beer garden, is one of the largest parts of the festival, I wanted to be all in. And it was at that point when I said to the committee, with my marketing and print background, and that's what I do for a living, we can really coordinate this. We've got the beer garden situated. We've handled that for many, many years. Now we just need to, I can help coordinate the print and the marketing of the event. We look at the demographics, what our whole plan was going to be, and it was all, with us, it was changing it to be all about community. And Heritage Festival was a wonderful event. Many, many years they had it, 25 plus years they had it. But they marketed it all throughout the suburbs. And it lost its down-home town feel. It was getting so big that you didn't really recognize a lot of the people that were at the festival. So one of the big things that we wanted to do as a Rotary Club of Downers Grove is we wanted to bring the festival back in size. We needed to downsize it, but we needed to market it that it's all about community. And now that we're in our 8th year of the festival, it's growing each and every year, and we feel it's better each and every year. But there's a number of things that we had to look at about, it's all about community, and what were we going to do as a Rotary Club, and what was I going to do with owning Ebersold Incorporated, and we're a print and marketing distributor in town. How could I help make the festival better? So that's where I came in and pulled in a number of other members of the club with their expertise. Lawyers in the community, other professionals in the community who ran non-for-profits, had done events. So we really utilized all of our strengths as a committee to pull off a great festival.
What was that like the first year when you guys had made the decision, okay, we think we're going to take this on? and you had your committee. How many people about were on the committee at that point?
We had on the first year, I think we had 8 on the main committee.
So you got eight people who had never put on a festival before responsible for doing this. How did you even figure out how to work with the village, how to arrange the bands, how to do all those things?
It was through, and I kind of sat around the table to say, hey, listen, we've done the beer garden. I can handle that. Another guy on the committee had worked on the music. Dave Humphreys had worked on the music, and he runs the Two-Way Coffee House. He stepped away from that a little bit this past year, but he knows music. And Patty Riley and her husband, they know music. So those people we pulled them together to get the music together and use their expertise. So it was where I kind of backed off and said, I don't know anything about music. I know I like good music, but I helped with the marketing aspect of, hey, who do we want to be there? What kind of bands do we want to have? Because that draws from the demographics. And so there were some moments that we sat around the table at my office. It's where we have the committee meetings. And there was some moments where we're like, can we really do this?
It seems like it'd be a pretty intimidating process.
Mm-hmm. Can we pull this off? And I kept going back with, we just need to find the great carnival people, that are reputable in nature, mm-hmm. that are honest, that are good people and fun to work with. North American Midway is the people that we've had since the beginning. They're one of the top people to run the carnival side of events. They have been more than gracious in helping us, and now even they're pulling in from the demographics that we work up as a company, that these are times when we can get kids there, and we have unlimited rides. We went with this past year, unlimited rides, to where it's pushing all of us to make money, but it's also saving the community money by people in the community being able to bring their kids, and for a one price, $25, they can ride rides for 4 hours. So, which is really kind of fun. So each and every year, we're making it better. And one of the things that eased everybody's eased everybody's it dropped the tension around the room on how we were going to pull this off and make it better and better each and every year. We've stayed focused with, it's all about community, and our number one goal is to market within Downers Grove. I mean, this is our town. This is the biggest festival in our town, the biggest event in our town. So we want to focus on Downers Grove. Now, we welcome people from every community, mm-hmm. but our 80% of our marketing is done within Downers Grove.
So, Kent, let me ask you this question. So let's say some business person that's kind of community-oriented, like you are, but they really don't have any events or programs like this, and they're thinking, gee, I'd really like to do that, but oh my God, it's so much to take on. How would you advise them to get over that fear, or what kind of steps would you suggest they take?
Well, it's interesting. Margie Cannon, who's our current president of the Rotary Club of Downers Grove, came to us to ask us if we could use her help because she'd like to help organize the volunteers. Mm. She's a very organized person. Mm-hmm. She's doing a great job as our current president of the club. But it was her and Ann Hatton, who works for the Chamber 630, they both came forward and they wanted to help, and they were not members of the club. So now we're getting outside members of the community who are then now joining Rotary because they see what a vibrant mm-hmm. organization it is of volunteers wanting to help with community service. That they have come forward to help, and they've been an integral part of coordinating the 350 plus volunteers, and us as a committee just saying, you guys, here you go, do what you think is best, and they've taken it and run with it. And so a cool thing is that whatever expertise you have, and it could be just very detailed and very mm-hmm. Planning driven,
sure.
We can find a place for you. We just had another example is we just had 2 guys who have been to our craft Beer Fest, okay, which is Saturday afternoon, and they are not part of our club, but they have come forward that they want to be a part of the planning committee for next year's craft beer event. So the thing is, and they have their expertise is that they go to a lot of these craft beer events. So we had never, anybody in our club had really never organized the craft beer event. So here we're pulling in people who obviously have experience with the craft beer event, and we're more than willing to have them help.
So let me ask this question. So let's say some people are going to get an event off the ground like like you've done. What would you say are 2 or 3 things that you've learned that were like big mistakes that don't do this? What are the things we should stay away from?
I think the biggest thing is to walk before you run.
Okay.
And the thing is, I was disappointed that the first year that the village gave us a very small footprint to work with, to the point where, not to say that I thought with the number of rides, it was packed in there, but what it taught us was that we got the event off the ground. We used what the village allowed us to have to use. And we made it a success. We were able to make money the very first year.
Beautiful.
So it was then that we expanded to the craft fair, okay, in Fishel Park. It was then that we expanded the footprint. So we walked before we ran, and I think sometimes people want an event the first year to be all-encompassing. And I think the best thing that we've done is, as a committee, and I use that walk before you run phrase from what I do with our marketing and advertising clients in my business, that you want to walk before you run. And you want to spend money very, very in a smart way. And that way you can kind of test market the waters. And through our test marketing, that was when we found out that a craft beer event could work. We just brought that on, for the last 2 years. And again, that's grown the last 2 years, and we expect it to be bigger next year.
And speaking with this concept of having the community involved, I got actually a brilliant idea for next year's Rotary
Grow Fest.
Grow Fest, okay?
What's that? You want to be on the committee?
What do you think? I think what would be cool would be to have like some dunk tanks, where people throw the ball and the guy falls in. And I would like to be the first to volunteer Kevin Services as one of the guys to be in the tank.
We had a dunk tank, and our president got injured in it.
So maybe that's something to avoid.
Yeah. He hurt his tailbone.
I don't know if we still have the dunk tank or not. It's been a while since I've been on the committee, but
No, we've thought about bringing it back. And when we bring it back, the bottom of the dunk tank will be padded. Okay. We have
a good idea.
We have thought about bringing that back.
That's a good idea.
So I just encourage anybody from the community that has a willingness or in their heart to volunteer to look at events within the non-for-profits or with Rotary Grow Fest, that there is some place for everybody. And, a friend of mine first volunteered for CASA. She's an attorney, and she volunteered for CASA, and now she's on staff at CASA.
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is that I think there's so much expertise and knowledge that what I feel grateful for with Rotary is that I'm able to coordinate the marketing and the print efforts with all the banners, with all the yard signs, with all the newspaper ads, with all the for the sponsorship packets, so that they know that through their sponsorship dollars that we're asking for, that we're giving back over $35,000 straight back to the community of Downers Grove from this event. So the thing is that when you use your expertise, there's a comfort level within our committee that they know that, in my case, I'm going to handle this. I'm going to handle it with being smart with our money as a group. but also the knowledge that I've had over 30 years of doing this for corporations, that it becomes a seamless operation for the group, and they can kind of, I don't want to say forget about it, but they can get into their planning of the other areas of the event, and they know that this area of the marketing and print side of GrowFest is taken care of, and they know that it's in good hands.
So let me ask you this question, and I can relate to what you say. I do volunteer work at Community Career Center. It is a very fulfilling thing when you do that, and you seem to get some satisfaction out of this, which is wonderful. You're doing a great thing. Do you feel it's helped you with your business in terms of some exposure or people you wouldn't have gotten to? Or
yes, I think I'm able to reach out and tell people that I'm working with in conversation that the event is going on, and the fun part about the event is that I'm seeing the things that we're producing, that we're designing, that we're producing out in the community, in the newspapers, and that I'm helping. I know that our company has been very helpful to be a part of the profit that has been raised from this community event. And in turn, I think we've stayed focused on, it's all about community, and being a lifelong resident of Downers Grove. This is a town that I love, and it's going to be hard if I ever move from this town. But it's part of me, and so when I see the revitalization of this festival, and it's now almost as big as Heritage Festival used to be, but it's all about our community, and people are seeing their neighbors. It is. I take great pride in it, and I see some benefit. But that's not why I do it.
Sure.
Let me add to that too, because when I started my firm at like 28, I didn't know anybody in town, and my dad was a member of the Rotary Club, and he said, well, you got to get involved in the community. So I did, and like I said, Kent was the first person I met, but I was just some attorney that nobody knew, and Kent asked me to be on his board, maybe my second year in the Rotary Club, and then I eventually was asked to be on the GrowFest committee, and it's a lot of work, but in the end, it turns you from someone who's just trying to run a business in town to someone who's actually a part of the community, and you make friends that, if I saw Kent at a networking event, like a chamber event, and we exchanged business cards, there's probably not a huge power partner, a print marketing guy and an attorney. It's not like you're an accountant.
Right.
But, over the course of time, the people that you meet by community involvement that stick around, they're going to be in the community for the next 20 years. You get introduced to so many people, and it kind of gives you some bona fides as a business owner to, have a booth at the Rotary Club, show your face, be out there volunteering. And I've probably, gotten a lot of clients, just insidiously by them knowing that I'm involved and I care about the community, and that it's a much deeper benefit than just spending your time going to random networking groups. It's a lot more work,
right?
But it's definitely the first step if you want to open a business in a community, is find an active organization, get involved, at least for the first several years, donate a lot of your time to it, and always say yes when people ask you to volunteer. Then when you have a couple kids, maybe you back off. But it's definitely the first step in opening a business in town. If I were to, when I do open up businesses, and we opened up a couple satellite offices this year, the first thing I do is get one of my attorneys in the local Rotary Club and get them involved in the community. That's step one. So definitely some business benefits. So when is the Grow Fest this year?
It's coming up. I knew you were going to ask me that. It's coming up.
Is it on that flyer there?
No,
is that from last year?
That's from last year. It's June 22nd to 25th.
And the website is
RotaryGrowFest.com. RotaryGrowFest.com. And, it was Ebersold Incorporated that I believe came up with O'Flaherty Law, your community law.
It was, that's
right?
your tagline.
Yeah, that's my tagline. I'm going to take credit for it.
So. You've done a lot of good work for me over the years. A lot of my marketing and printing needs Kent's taken care of. So if someone wants to hire you for marketing or printing, how can they reach you, Kent?
Well, they can reach me on my cell phone at 630-363-7746, or at my office, 630-512-9922. Ebersoldinc.com is our website, and I'd be more than happy to help any size business, large or small.
Okay, and Jim, how can people reach you?
Well, they can reach me at 630-272-3895. And I'd like to add 2 other comments relative to our show. Number 1, if you yourself would like to be a guest, let us know. If you know of somebody who you think would like to be a guest, please let us know that. And as you can see, there's always a learning piece to our shows. I mean, when's the last time you heard somebody use the word bona fides in a sentence? Kevin, how did I get a hold of you?
You can reach me at 630-324-6666. We offer free consultations in almost every area of law. You can watch more videos, listen to more podcasts, including the very second podcast we did with Kent Ebersold at seizeyourbusiness.com. And if you want to check out my legal blog and video blog and podcast, that's learn-about-law.com. I want to thank again Tom Weiler from Weiler Studios for putting our slick new video together.
Right.
So if you like this video and you want to hire him for photography or videography, go to weilerstudios.com. So thanks so much for listening.